Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. My name is Dr. Mary Runo. I'm a specialist in the area of special needs education with a bias of learning disabilities, intellectual and developmental disorders, what they normally used to call mental retardation. And I also deal with children with autism and behavior disorders, basically general education in special needs. I have worked with special needs for a very, very long time, several decades. And I feel that it's time for me to give this information to parents, especially because I have realized that a lot of parents have been struggling with their children not knowing what they're supposed to do. And therefore, I thought if I took time to give the information I have, we can work together as parents, as teachers, as professionals to help each other. I want to talk about special needs within CBC, competency-based curriculum. I know quite a number of parents have been wondering how are our children going to benefit from CBC. Basically, I'm interested in the area of unlocking the potential of the children through assessment. So before I talk about assessment, I want to talk about CBC and the benefit of CBC to our children with special needs or those children who are at risk. Children who are at risk, or in the previous system, 844, most of our children with special needs were literally left out. We'll be struggling with children, and most of the time we'll be told by the regular schools to take those children to special schools. While it is okay to take your child to special school, and it's okay for those children to be in special school, majority of the children do not need to be in the special school. They need to be in the regular school through inclusiveness or through inclusive education. So I want to really talk positively about CBC. And I say that CBC has come as an equalizer. CBC was introduced in Kenya to replace the 844 system because the 844 system has been an examination-oriented system. And a big percentage of children have been falling off the cracks because if they don't perform, they don't belong. Luckily enough for CBC, like I said earlier, is an equalizer. Every child can perform because it looks at the competencies. Looks at not only academic but non-academic areas. It looks at the attitude, the skills. It looks at how the child is performing. And it actually looks at the needs, the strengths of the child. So every teacher who is actually interested in having the children perform at their level, CBC is the real thing. And CBC will work with children with special needs or those children who are at risk. What do I mean by children who are at risk? The children who start very well, preschool, they go through early child education, and they perform very well. But when they get to primary, something just goes very, very wrong. They start off falling off, they start failing to go to school, they get sickly, parents start complaining, the schools start complaining. So those children are at risk. They could have been identified earlier, but since they were not identified, the whole brain problem comes up by the time they're in primary school. If again those children are not taken care of, they actually drop out of school or they move with others along all the classes. At the end of it all, they move out without any particular skill they have learned. CBC's aim is to nurture the abilities of the children and to come up with a better pathway. I can say it has a better pathway of educational journey of each child. Such children will manage equally like any other child. We have an A student, we have a B student, we have a C student, which is still fine. But on top of that, there are other skills that are hidden within the child, the innate, the inborn skills that are hidden within the child that need to be discovered by the teachers and the parents. When we focus on such skills that are inborn, they improve not only the academic, but they also improve the entire child. So we are talking about taking the child holistically and looking at the child's path of development, growth and development, to a point of looking at where is this child going to be even before they get there. And that is the business of the teachers and the parents. So I'm talking to the parents this morning, this afternoon, this evening, so that parents can be more observant more supportive. I know you are supportive. I know you are very supportive. But I want you to be observant of any traits that can help you in terms of identifying those children early enough and actually putting the real skills or the actual skills within the child. CBC again looks at the holistic approach or follows the holistic approach, whereby we look at the cognitive, the social, the language, the emotional, the physical development of the child. Special education, for those who may not understand it well, has always looked at the child holistically. It has looked at the child in all areas of development. Again, without talking so much about 844, 844 was basically only interested in cognitive skills. If the child does not perform, does not belong. The CBC looks at the entire child, from the cognitive, from the social, from the language point of view, from the physical point of view. Even actually, how do you develop the personality of this particular child? Coming to think of, every child has an extra intelligence, or what we call multiple intelligences. There's one man in US called Howard Gardner. He has talked about multiple intelligences. And he's one man that I really respect, because I've always had problems with when we just look at the child based on intellectual abilities. There is much more than just the cognitive ability. So Gardner has come up with several intelligences such that even our children who are excelling in music, in art, in running, in dancing, can actually get a career from there. And that is what this professional or this man is talking about. And I want to encourage parents that let's not focus so much on whether the child is bringing an A at home. It's good to bring an A, but look at also which other parts or which other ability does this child have that can actually make this child move forward in life. We have had children who have said, okay, fine, I finished the school, I got an A for you or I got a B for you, but right now I want to follow my music, I want to follow my art. Somebody may argue, oh, that was 844. We still have parents up to now who have not shifted. They're still asking the schools, what did my child get? And there are some schools who have not shifted. They're still labeling the children as A scholar, B scholar, C scholar, non-scholar. And I think at the end of the day, we are saying all children matter. And if we put in our efforts to help these children identify that other skill, that talent, and we focus on that talent together with the academic, every child matters and every child can learn. Like I said, every child has more than one intelligence. It is important for us as parents to know, where is my child strong at? What are the strengths of my child? And that's why we are calling upon you as a parent to get your child assessed. The child may not have a problem as such, but it's important to consult specialists so that you'll be told, or they can identify the underlying factors or the inborn talent within the child. For those children with special needs or at risk, when the child is assessed, there is a way out. There is a benefit of assessment. Children are assessed, their strengths, their weaknesses or needs are identified. After that, the professionals who do the assessment, together with you and together with the teachers, will identify the areas of concern. If the child is strong in something, for instance, that activity or that skill should be enhanced. Where they are weak, that activity still would be worked at. So we call it the present level of performance. So when we get the present level of performance, this assessment is different from the assessment in the classroom. A teacher will give so many assessments, will give maybe writing assessment or mathematics assessment, or assessment in maybe history. But that is not the kind of assessment I'm talking about. For the sake of this talk, I'll call it functional assessment, whereby you get your child assessed so that we can identify where is the strength of this child, where is the weaknesses or the needs of this child. After the assessment, or after identifying the strength and the weaknesses, the professionals will guide the teachers to come up with a program for that particular child. That program will be tailored for the child so that the child will benefit as an individual. So when the child has been identified, you and the teachers will benefit. You can get in touch with us to give you more information about it. More videos will be coming out, even how to help your child. We'll show you a few tips of even how to observe. If you're suspicious of anything, it is important that you talk to us so that we help you get the child to do what he's meant to do. Our dear parents and teachers, if you need any help from us, please get in touch with us using the contact and the number on the screen.